Hey there, folks. Welcome back to the Overflow. My name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, and I voted today.
Hooray! Can you spoil who it was, or is it kind of obvious?
It's kind of obvious.
There you go. So, meanwhile, I am regrowing my beard because it is that time of the year. And I am freshly trimmed, so now you can't tell how bald I am. So that's always nice. It was actually something that someone pointed out on a live stream. It's like, Micah, your hair got really thin this year. I'm like, yeah, I know. But that's because in like a month and a half, I turned 35. I don't want to turn 35, Hat Man.
So then don't turn 35.
I can't.
I identify as an 18-year-old. I'm fairly certain that's how it works nowadays.
I guess, but then I wouldn't be able to vote for Donald Trump. But
If you're an 18-year-old, yes, you can.
well, I don't know. Like the whole identify as something that I'm not is like a whole lefty thing.
That's true. Hey, well, then again, you could be a lefty voting for Trump.
Fair point.
Defy the expectations.
By the way, we need to reiterate something to the people out there. Latinx is not a thing.
Latinx is stupid. And if you say Latinx like unironically or not mockingly, you're speaking bad language. Stop it. Stop it now.
That's because it's not a thing.
No, it's not. Any Spanish speaker will tell you that's stupid. In fact, dare I call it cultural appropriation.
Well, I saw in the news today that like a bunch of um quote unquote Latinx people in Hollywood signed a letter saying that they wanted more inclusion in Hollywood. And I'm like, how can the non-existent sign a letter? Like, again, Latinx is not a thing.
No, it is not. Latinx.
So stop it. Latino or Latina, that's it. There are not enough people out there that are weird about their fucking gender for you to be saying Latinx. It's not real.
I mean, the Spanish language is inherently gender anyway.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
oops, sorry.
Yeah,
Deal
get
with it.
over it. In the words of that one crime boss from GTA 4, shut it fuck up. My fucking wife is watching television. Good Lord, what are you doing? You're going to saw his fucking arm off to find out that he is his cousin. I do a pretty good impression of him. I can't remember his name for the life of me. It's not
God
Dmitry
bless.
Raskolov. It's his old boss. Um,
Oh shit. God damn it.
it's not Bulgarin.
No, it's not Bulgarin. It's not Gambetti.
Well, it's obviously not Gambetti because Gambetti's not Russian.
You know. Fuck. It'll come to me. It'll come to me.
Yeah. But I used to do that whenever I would walk into a room with my buddy Josh, because my buddy Josh is a huge GTA 4 fan like I am. And he'd be just talking to his girlfriend. I'd be like, shut it fuck up! just bust out laughing. All right. Let's go ahead and get to the questions. Hatman, are we starting with politics or entertainment?
Let's start politics since, I just voted.
Okay. Well, let's have a look here. Crystal Hydra wants to know, why is it that the left is so hell-bent over trying to start a civil war they can't win? Trump has only to show a little force and they get crushed. Do they really think they can fight a war? So I think all of the left, I don't really think that's the case. I don't think Nancy Pelosi wants a civil war.
Yeah, no, absolutely not. Uh-uh.
So that I think requires clarification. It's the extreme left, the Antifa types that seem to want one. Um, so let me say this. One thing I have noticed, I took a little peek at BreadTube, and with the way that BreadTube talks, I sometimes wonder if like they're the ones who really want it, because it just kind of reminds me of the type of person that encourages other people to bleed for them. You know? Or maybe that's just me being weird. I could be wrong. Um, but anyway, I think that it just sort of goes into the nature of them being kind of, well, wannabe revolutionaries. You know, they think that there needs to be some sort of a revolution. The problem is that who's gonna bleed for it? And then when they realize, oh, it's us that has to bleed for it, reality sets in.
Yeah, suddenly they don't want to. They just want to be the propagandists. They never want to be the soldiers on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how much game they try to talk like they want another battle of Cable Street, and yet the most that they can muster is running away from cops and having dance parties on blocked off roads.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, no one is going to look at that and go, yeah, like we should completely give the country to these fucking idiots.
Yeah. And like the one guy that Antifa killed recently, where they tracked the dude down and gunned him down. That was basically a hit and run anyway. Shot in the back of the head.
Yeah.
Like if that's your idea of warfare, I've got some bad news, buddy.
Yeah. Also, I need to say something. Um, so one of the fans of the show actually sent me a Twitter DM, and he seemed panicked about it. So let me just say this to any of you guys out there that are worried about me with this whole thing. I'm fine. Okay? I'm okay. I'm fine. I'm not even in any position where these guys are even going to try to cap me. Okay?
Yeah.
I do not need to go kissing the ass of other right-wing YouTubers just because one guy got executed. I feel horrible for what happened to him. I'm going to be fine. Okay? Calm the fuck down. Seriously.
Yeah, we'll be all right.
No, you don't need to worry about me. So, all right. Second bit. Brian Gilmartin wants to know, is the fact that certain people identify more with villains and heroes a sign of moral degradation in society? No. Because even I do that sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's just a sign of shifting storytelling norms.
There's that. I think that some people have no sense of, like, irony.
Mm.
Because remember Operation Skynet during Gamergate?
Oh God.
Like Skynet was being used being used ironically.
Yeah. Skynet is still the name of my home Wi-Fi.
Mine's pretty fly for a Wi-Fi.
Yeah. That one I've seen before. There's one around here that's password is taco. I have not tried to see if the name rings true.
That would be interesting.
But no, I don't think it's got anything to do with moral degradation or
No.
anything like that.
Some people are just dumb.
Yeah.
That's basically
Some
it.
people are, and some villains, are just written better or written to be somewhat sympathetic. Like everyone who says Thanos did nothing wrong, for example.
Yeah. Cause here's the thing. Like, I think that some people might be thinking about like the whole Medusa Perseus thing.
Oh, yeah.
So here's the thing about that. You guys have the like. I've been covering the Me Too movement on RT for a while now. I'm gonna just fucking tell you guys. The Me Too movement is full of idiots.
Yes, it is.
It's full of idiots. They have no real comprehension of how they look to the public, and as such, they make boneheaded decisions, and that's like one
Yeah.
of them, because
Yeah.
Medusa literally is evil as fuck.
Yes. I mean, it. Me Too has largely given way to misandry, just blatant misandry.
Yeah,
And no, sorry, there's no justification for that.
I think that's oddly enough one of my favorite stories that I've covered over the course of 2020 is the fall of Me Too.
Mm.
And I think that the statue is sort of the last nail in the coffin, and ironically, they put it there themselves.
No.
Now they can't be taken seriously. They just can't.
Nope.
Miguel Barrera wants to know, why do progressives unironically think that the French Revolution was a good thing? Because they believe in so everything in the Declaration of the Rights of Man they actually believe in. That's actually probably the best, aside from the Communist Manifesto, which to my recollection is actually partially inspired by that document. The Declaration of the Rights of Man, from the French Revolution, is what they believe. In fact, Ruth Bader Ginsburg was actually quoted as saying she preferred it over the Constitution.
Um, there's a reason why the Jacobin magazine is a leftist thing that exists today and why it's named that way. The ideals of the Jacobins from the French Revolution are still being held by leftists today. They do not give a fuck about the Reign of Terror. They do not give a fuck about the fact that the revolution ultimately led to a dictatorship under Napoleon. They think, well, if we did it again, we can do it differently. Kind of like, how communism has never been tried before.
Yeah. Well, but my whole thing about it is the philosophical element. Is that the Declaration of the Rights of Man is ultimately a collectivist document, whereas
Yes.
the Declaration of Independence and the Constitution are individualist. So that is something to keep in mind, because America is in general founded on a sense of individualism
Yeah.
and
Well,
the desire
that's the
to get
difference
away
between the
from
revolutions.
dictatorship,
Yeah,
whereas the
that's
French didn't really have the forethought for that because they're French.
well, that's the difference between the American and French revolutions anyway. Like the American Revolution was, trying to attain individual liberties. The French Revolution was ultimately a class war.
Yeah,
So that's why you have, a collectivist outlook versus an individualist outlook. And you see which one succeeded in the end.
yeah. France sucks. We don't. So there you go. That's
That's why
both.
I keep saying,
Yeah, that's
do you
both
want
angles of
Napoleon?
it.
Because that's how you get Napoleon.
Mm-hmm. GTA driver number one wants to know, why do people follow mainstream news rather than alternatives or looking into it for themselves? Because they don't have the time. Would be my main thought.
That
Um,
that and mainstream news gets scoops quicker and more often than alternative sources.
yeah, they have the resources to do so.
Yeah,
Like, news reporting from mainstream outlets can be decent. Op-eds are better from different sources.
yeah. Just read everything and be discerning. Like there's nothing wrong with reading stuff from like the New York Times or the Washington Post or whatever, but just read every article, like from every source. If you have a story like the most recent Hunter Biden story, for example, and I apologize if this video gets the channel banned. Um, you read every take on it, and then decide for yourself what's the truth. Bias is naturally going to seep into any story based on whoever writes it. The truth is in the middle.
You should definitely read articles by that Micah Curtis guy over at RT. I hear he's pretty smart.
I heard he's a Russian bot, and a bearded thumb too.
Yeah, well, that's all true too. But I'm a very smart bearded thumb Russian bot. So, all right. What do we got next? Melee Brawler wants to know. Recently, it's been discovered that registered Republicans are outnumbering in several states. Based on this info, what effect do you think this will have on the election? Trump winning? It's kind of obvious. No offense.
More people registering as Republicans. We got more Democrats on average ordering ballots, absentee ballots. I don't know if there were any numbers about, who's planning on voting in person early. I remember seeing something about like Democrats and Republicans are way more enthusiastic about voting this year than last, like up 30%.
That doesn't really surprise me.
That No, it doesn't surprise me either. And they're like neck and I think it was like 80% to 77% Democrats to Republicans are enthusiastic about it.
Yeah.
But again, I think it's going to be close. I cannot say with certainty who's going to win at this point, but I do think it'll be very close.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to be a blowout for anybody.
There's no indications of a blowout.
Yeah,
But I will say this. So. I will say this. If the VP debate is the last debate of this election cycle, the Democrats are in trouble.
Yeah, they are.
Because that was very bad for them.
Yeah.
And they know it. They're starting to realize that Kamala was a really, really bad VP pick. Because let's be honest, the only reason that she was the pick is because she's black. That's really it.
She's a black woman.
Yeah.
She checks off some boxes. The diversity hire, if you will.
Yeah, they wanted to distract from white man Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not really working out for him. So
Nope.
It's almost like you should, decide who you want to run based on merit.
Yeah.
Crazy thought, I know.
I know. Meritocracy is so overrated these days, apparently.
Yep.
Damn shame.
All right. People asking some Bible questions.
All right. Sermon time with Micah.
Yep. Okay. So Malachi 4, 5, and 6. So
that's Malachi chapter 4, verses 5 and 6.
All right.
Not, chapters 4, 5, and 6.
I'm going to look up the full chapter because you should never look at something without the full context.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it reads, "Remember the law of my servant Moses, the decrees and laws I gave him at Horeb for all of Israel. See, I will send the prophet Elijah to you before that great and dreadful day the Lord comes. He will turn the hearts of the parents to their children, the hearts of the children to their parents, or else I will come and strike the land with total destruction." So, it's Revelation text, really. I mean, the entirety of Malachi is basically that. It's basically prophesying all of the mess that would happen before the arrival of Christ. So basically, it's saying like things are going to change. and none of you are prepared for what's about to happen.
Well, there you go.
Because what happened next changed the world.
Literally split time in two.
All right, entertainment time.
Entertainment time. Fun stuff.
Yes, especially because it's starting off with Gundams.
Oh.
Lupus Volk wants to know, does Gunpla require painting when being assembled? Not really. You can assemble it without it, but it's not going to look as cool. So, I stress built a Gundam this week because I was stressed out about some stuff. And I'm going to show him to the crowd. So, Hatman, have you seen 0083 Stardust Memory?
No, I have not.
Okay, well, that's a bummer. You need to because it's great. Hatman cannot see this, but he's probably seen the Discord where I posted pictures of it.
Is it the most recent pictures?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, I've seen it then.
I have right here in front of me. This is the RX-78 GP01 Zephyranthus. This is from 0083 Stardust Memory, which is probably one of my favorite Gundam miniseries. And instead of using stickers, I painted him. And I think he looks a lot better because of it. There's still some cleanup that needs to be done on the back, on the verniers on his back. But ultimately, it's a beautiful looking mobile suit. You'll see that there's a lot more detail to it, you know, in the panel lines and stuff like that. So, do I recommend doing it? Absolutely. You don't have to paint the whole thing. Like Xavier, who streams with me sometimes whenever I'm doing Gunpla stuff, him and Optimus, like Xavier will paint the whole Gundam. Like he'll repaint the whole thing, every single part. I don't do that. I usually just focus on the details that are left open by the plastic. And what I use specifically are what are called Gundam Markers. So you can find these small you can find them all on Amazon. One that I will say is you're going to want to get the detailing pens, which I'm holding right in front of me. These have very fine tips on them, and they're good for panel lines and for detailing. And then for small areas that need extra color, I have these thicker paint pens, which are also Gundam Markers, that are good for wider areas. So on the Zephyranthus, like I said, I still need to clean him up a bit. I wanted to make sure that he was completely dry. These parts on the legs here that are red, those are painted in by a Gundam marker. So it gives a nice thick coat without having to actually use a paintbrush, and gives you the control of having a pen. So, and basically all you do is when you pick them up, let me find one that I haven't used yet. And they will start out, they will have a clear tip to them. That's because the paint in them hasn't been shaken up yet. You shake it for about a minute, and then the paint will start flowing, and then you just use it like a pen. Just one thing I would advise is have some Q-tips handy, or a wet washcloth. Q-tips with paint dipped in paint thinner are a better idea, though, for controlling kind of your boundaries. You could also use masking tape over the areas that you don't want it to bleed into. That also helps, but it takes longer. So it's not necessary, but if you want them to look their best, I would say it's worth it, because the paint pens only cost you about $20 between all of them. Or at least that's about how much I paid. So there you go. Ant-Man, no input on it?
No, not really. I have not built a Gunpla before, so I can't say anything.
You should at some point. It's fun. It's a good hobby to get the noggin jogging. All right, Will Geary wants to know, because the entertainment industry tends to be dumb, do you think any other streaming services may try to pull their own cuties? Probably not, because they're gonna see how much money they lost. Like that's something you have to keep in mind. It's like, here's the thing. Nothing happens in a vacuum. I am convinced that somebody at Netflix thought that Cuties is legitimately a feminist film. And that's why it is on Netflix. I legitimately think that at this point. It's the only explanation that makes sense. And I mean, and it only makes sense when I like turn my brain sideways and try to pretend it's a potato. You know, like it's so dumb. It's one of the dumbest business moves I've ever seen. But it's the only thing that makes sense. It literally is, because that's how the filmmaker defends it. Is she says it's a feminist film. So I don't think that other streaming services are going to make that same mistake. You know, it's the same reason. Like, now, granted, there's also a lot of stuff out there that like that isn't a parallel. The only thing that I could think of is like if Crunchyroll announced that they were going to put Boku no Pico on their service.
Yo.
So
don't watch an anime called Boku.
just don't do it.
Number 3.
Fuck. Yeah. If you watch it, you'll never be able to have Pico de Gallo ever again.
Nope.
It just won't. It just won't happen. So
don't
do it. Just don't do it. Don't do that to yourself.
I'm not even trying to like reverse psychology, y'all. Just don't do it.
Don't. Like, seriously, we're warning you. Don't do it.
Seriously.
GTA Driver wants to know what do each of you say the best way to deal with procrastination is.
I'll think of something tomorrow.
Yeah, I can't be bothered right now. I'm in the middle of something. Like, sorry.
No.
I'm in the middle of.
I'm serious. I have no idea. Like, if you find something, let me know.
My big thing is like I just try to do something every day, and I've noticed that when I try to do something every day, I don't want to wait to do other things, and it's very hard. Now I have a hard time waiting to do other things. I can't wait to do them. For example, we were talking Gunpla earlier, right? So when I built the Zephyranthus, that was actually supposed to be the Gundam for the week, but it's kind of not. It's not now because I fucking built it because I got stressed out like an idiot. So I really actually need to clean up my office because I've got so much shit everywhere. What I have for this week is the Gundam F91, which is, you can hear the case back here. So that's what we're doing. But the I can't. The fact that it's sitting here unassembled is driving me fucking bonkers. But that's because I just don't procrastinate anymore. I like doing things. I like getting shit done. You know, and that is part of what I have planned for, like, my back area here, is I'm going to put a bookshelf underneath my poster of Guts here, and it's going to have Gunpla all over it, you know? So, I actually need to place an order for the bookshelf sometime today. But yeah, it's just it's one of those things where you have to force yourself to start doing things, and then you're going to build the habit of actually, like, not waiting to get shit done. I will say one thing that I am bad at is I procrastinate on cleaning. Like, I always wait to the last minute to get my cleaning done, and that's bad. So one thing that I've started doing is that every time I get up to go to the bathroom from my office, because I'm always, working on shit or just hanging out with people, what I will do is every time I get up, I take something with me to go to the trash can, or I take something with me to rinse off or clean real quick. And I found that works wonders. So it's basically just about doing the opposite of procrastinating. I hate to oversimplify it, but really that's a big part of it. It's just do stuff. Do stuff that moves you forward.
Speaking of GTA, by the way, the character that we were thinking of was Faustin.
Yeah, Mikhail Faustin, that's it.
Told you it was going to come to me.
There you go. Zachary Loggins wants to know, in the third Berserk movie, when Griffith was transforming into Femto, there were images shown. What was he seeing? I don't remember. Trying to get me to go back and watch the eclipse is like going to send me into a blood-curdling range where I will lose my arm and go fucking kill Griffith, okay? Griffith did everything wrong. Fuck Griffith. So yeah, I don't remember what was shown.
Neither do I. Couldn't tell you.
What's next? Miguel Barrera says, another interesting matchup, Scorpion versus Ryu Hayabusa. Who would win in that scenario? Scorpion! Because he's like
Easy.
Fucking super powered.
Yeah. Yeah, even if Ryu went full Akuma mode.
No, Ryu
Scorpion's
Hayabusa.
got him.
Ninja Gaiden.
Oh, Ryu. Oh, okay. Wow, I am stupid. Yeah, no, definitely Scorpion, because what does Ryu Hayabusa have except for like hard level design?
Well, Ryu is a super skilled ninja, but the thing about it is that he's just human. Like, whereas Scorpion is like, he has the whole Netherrealm
He's
shit.
Undead, yes. He's got the powers of the Netherrealm. There's
not to mention, and this is another thing to consider, is the people that Scorpion has beat. I actually went over this in the Discord server a while ago. Is he beat he's beaten almost everyone except for Liu Kang.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and one of those people is Kung Lao, and he beat Kung Lao rather soundly.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because Kung Lao managed to beat Shang Tsung and Quan Chi in the same fight. And it's canonical that Scorpion literally beat the piss out of him.
Yeah.
So
I don't think Ryu Hayabusa could stand a chance against Shang Tsung, let alone Quan Chi.
Yeah. So I think that it just comes down to Scorpion's level of power and skill is just so much higher than Ryu's.
Yeah.
It would be entertaining at the start. When Scorpion starts getting serious, the fight's over. So, let's see here. Melee Brawler wants to know, do we remember, rather, what if Enemy of the State, where Wolverine never got free of his mind control, ends up killing all of the world's heroes, including Cap?
Nope.
Not really, which was kind of silly because he didn't really get free of the mind control until Cap beat the piss out of him.
No, there are a handful of what if stories that I never got around to reading, and that's one of them.
Yeah, and it, like I said, the premise doesn't make sense because like he didn't get free of the mind control. Cap beat him up and knocked him unconscious, and then that's what freed him. Because at the end of the day, if you want to solve a problem, you throw Captain America at it.
This is true.
Serena wants to know, as a fantasy writer, how do you remember all the made-up cities in your world? I have a hard time remembering them all. We'll just write them down.
Once you start referring to them in your writing, you'll pick them up quickly. I mean, it's the same thing with like named characters. You know, once you won't have to go back and remember who this person is or where this place is. You know, once you get the hang of it, you know, it's part of learning your world as you write it. It'll come. It just comes.
And if you want
Even
to
if
oversimplify it, you could name all of your towns Bob.
that's true.
I don't know if that would be a
But
good
even
idea
if you're
to
going to
do,
have like,
but it's something you can do. So
it is a thing. But no, even if you have names that are like completely out there, like totally made up that you even have a hard time pronouncing, eventually you will get to the point where they're like second nature to you. You can rattle them off the top of your head, and everyone else will be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But you'll know, and that's the important thing.
this is true. All right. Is that it?
I guess. Yeah, we're not doing an overflood this week, so I guess that's it.
Well, shit. Um,
Damn, I went by fast.
yeah. Is there like, huh? Well, fuck.
Fuck.
I don't even know what I don't even know what to close with. I don't even know what we should call this episode.
Uh, uh, we don't know what to call this episode.
We've done that one before, I thought.
We did.
I think.
Then
It
we
was
don't know
something
what to
like
call
we
this
don't know what to
episode
call
either.
this episode, or it was oh, what was the other one? Or insert title here.
I know we've definitely done that one.
Yeah.
Because that's one that I drew in Sharpie on one of the title cards. I guess call it. We don't know what to call this one either.
Yeah, that could work. Real quick though, before we take off, you want to hear something funny?
I like funny things.
So, an anti-Comicsgate guy
Oh God.
created a burner account
Oh God.
to try to say that I am pretending to like anime. So let me just say this. Let me just say this. I literally watched with bated breath the very first Toonami. As in the very first one ever fucking broadcasted.
As in Moltar.
Yeah. Like, so I just want you to understand that. The second thing that I want you to understand is that you're an idiot. And the third thing I want you to understand is one of the most popular videos I've ever done is called Things I Love Berserk, which is about a manga.
I'm sorry. I can't get over the fact that it's an anti-comic skater who made a burner account to call you a fake weeb.
Yes. Let me just say one other thing. I am so fucking done with all of the bullshit tribalism that goes around on the internet. Don't try to get a gotcha on me. It's probably not worth it at this point. You're not gonna get any back pats from anybody that's like of note. Because I just don't care.
Yeah.
So I'm just pointing this out because I want people to understand how fruitless it is. I couldn't give a fuck less about any of that nonsense at this point. If you have issues with shit that Ethan is doing and all that, go take it up with him. I'm not gonna give a flying fuck about what any of you guys think. So, just a heads up. All right, folks, we need to bring this to a close. I'm gonna go back to being very bothered that I can't build another Gundam until Saturday. I might build it tonight just because it's frustrating me.
Put it together and take it apart.
We might do Gunpla night early. I don't know. I haven't thought about it. We'll see what happens. But if I do, I will let you guys know. So, with all that said, my name is Micah Curtis.
And I'm Alex Baldwin, and oh my God, the 100th episodes are gonna be tomorrow.
Yes, and I'm going to eat a whole cheesecake.
All right, cheesecake.
Yes. So, we'll see you guys soon. Deus Vault.
Deus Volt.